Hello everybody, my name is Farmer Phil, and in today's video we are going big square baling again. But that's not why you're watching the video, because the title of the video, the 99 let me down, and yes it did. So I am a little bit caught for time, because the job I'm going to now was to be done yesterday, and because the 99 let me down, I didn't get to it, so I'm getting to it now this morning. So I'll try and get it done before any rain comes today. Hopefully it'll be dry enough. Where's me cable for that? So what happened was we had a fuse rubbed again the chassis, blew a fuse that was controlling the Diagnosing, my armrest and my gears, so I couldn't select gear, so I was losing drive. But it was under a bit of pressure. I'll explain when I either get baling or get finished, and we'll try and run through what actually happened. But I just need to get going because there is rain forecast come 12 o'clock ish, so I need to get going and get it done. But anyways, I gotta find some cables wherever they're disappeared to. We're here now on the screen and the moisture meter. Interesting to see what the moisture meter says now. Check it. 12, yeah, she's good. Here we are. So we're in Bornacoola. So Eric rode this up, or Bro rode this yesterday. So when Bro left to go row this, I was still working and everything was fine. I was going to be here. It's being damp of itself now. So Bro come on ahead down here. I was working away, tractor was working perfect. I'll change the pipe here. And anyways, I was working away perfect, so Bro come down to row it, and it was while Bro was on the way down here, I broke down, and I thought, you know, we get her going, and we did. We got it going, on into it, but we got running, and I broke down again. So I did. Right, that's on. That's on. Pull that, let down the door. Ideally, we wouldn't have rode it till this morning, just because you get a better drying when it's not in the big row, just with the dew that has fallen. So it's not. Maybe if I had it broken earlier on me, we wouldn't have done what we've done, but it was a bit late. And now we are back in the field. A good nice lively breeze there. A bit drier of itself. Good and crisp anyways. Yeah. So one thing we can do, I hear up and see what happens. Yeah, and I have all these fucking twines hanging out the baler too, so that's fun. Oh, so one thing to do, and that's get started and see what happens. Hopefully we can get it done. So we're baling away here, getting on the finest. Thankfully, I was a bit nervous now, but no, the rain we had and everything didn't do it any harm at all. And we've done a bit down the middle. We've done half an outside run there, and she's 100%, 100%. So everything is just tipping away there nicely. Knocker's going. Knocker coming up. Go on, go up. Yeah, pops up. One of my bill hooks is sticking a little, but it's not. Just keep an eye on it and make sure that it's alright. But yeah, no, we're baling away, big square bales, and thankfully we're getting it done. We're getting it done for the customers, making up for not being able to get to them on the good day where the tractor broke down on us. But we're not just mucking through it, getting it done. Our moistures are coming in under 20%. That's That's all you want to see. Under 20% moisture. He is sound. So yeah, the relief on me at the minute is just, can't describe it on camera just how much relief it is, because I was a bit nervous just because it did get a little bit of rain yesterday, and I was just that bit nervous whether it'd be ready or not. But she's perfect. Yeah, no, just well happy now. And thankfully we got this bit of weather that we could make up for not getting down here in time, just because the tractor gave up. But anyways, keep this video kind of informative, or as informative as I can, when we're talking about what went wrong with the tractor. She's working away. That's now seeing if the moisture's right. We keep on going. Yeah, 14% moisture. Bang on the money.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare, 'cause the flames will burn.
So we're just in the last field now. Be on the way, knocker's gone. Knocker's okay. Moisture good. All in all, flying it, absolutely flying it. So this is it, very small bit now, round it, up and down twice, and we are done. We are done. Happy days. But yeah, what can I say? When she goes well, she goes very well. That's a very nice job to be doing, so it is. Very nice. Anyways, we get this finished up. Everything's going good, yeah. We get finished up and we beat on home. We've made a lot of bales. Actually made quite a few more than last year. And they were good bales too, and lovely and dried. Yeah, from what was yesterday to what is today, complete transformation. So it is just, yeah, couldn't have went better, I don't think. So we'll just fire out these bales. One bale. And away she goes. On the back. That's just about to tip off there now. Leave it where it's just about to go. It'll fall down anyways. But that is inside of the baler clean again. What that is up there. Yeah, she is starting to really, you can start to feel it there. She's getting nice and slidey, which is what you want to see. But yeah, so that's probably the last hay I'll go through the baler this year. So I haven't done much. Not as much as I was kind of hoping. So I done 2 jobs. So it's actually 170 bales between 2 jobs. Isn't too bad. There was other work. The weather at the time when it was being lined up wasn't great, so it ended up being wrapped, baled and wrapped. So it's unfortunate, but hey, there's always next year. You can get this yoke to stay up now, I'll be doing right. We'll be moving on to straw next, and actually as we speak the combine is out and working. So they've started cutting winter barley. Now not our own, cutting for a customer. 4 or 5 acres was the first outing with the combine. We have 28 acres to cut for ourselves. That'll be the next outing for the big square baler. So I can't see there being any more hay made this year. Maybe, I can't see it. But yeah, is there anything else to say? I thought there was something else to say. No, I don't think. But yeah, so that's it. That's the big square. That's probably all the hay finished for the year, and probably the last of the big square baling and hay for the year. But hopefully there'll be a bit of straw to be done for lads. So we're going to come back to the yard. When we get back to the yard, I'm going to run through what went wrong with the tractor. I know it's a bit of a clickbaity video and then not get to it to the very end, but we're going to run through what went wrong and a few of the little things that might help someone in the future on a tractor like this. Maybe other tractors might be similar, but to help identify where the problem was, because I think I spent about 5 hours that day trying to figure out what was wrong. Anyways, we'll be on home. So now we are back in the yard, back home. So now to get to what the video is on about, how the 99 let me down. I'm pretty sure I explained that at the start of the video because it's been a day I've kind of forgotten what I said. But the issue was I was out baling. I didn't bring the camera with me, so I can't show you all the ripping I was at. But probably should have taken pictures on my phone. But however, I done a lot of ripping. I was baling away. Everything was going perfect. Baler was absolutely flying at 7.5 kilometers an hour up and down the field. I was loving life. Then I lost drive, I lost my Diagnosing screen, and I lost all my armrests. So lift, gears, no armrest, no screen, no forward or reverse. So, right, around my father, got on to the Murphys in Wexford, Massey Salvage. So I was talking to Keith, Annie and Murphy, and eventually talking to them, managed to figure out it was a fuse that was gone, and which fuse it was for the linkage and diagnostics F18, which is a 7.5 amp fuse. So seeing that was gone, I took one out of the air conditioning because it's not working, put it in, started up the tractor, and grand, screen come back on, spools come back, went to put it into gear, so lifted the shuttle and put into forward, bang, fuse went again. So then I was lucky enough, the farmer I was working for was in the field, and he kindly brought me to a local garage. I bought fuses because I had the box of fuses that we have got corroded. So I got a new box of fuses, all the different size fuses. I actually got 2 sets. I got the micros and the standard because you can't have enough of them. So we got back to the field, I put in a fuse, and away she went. Didn't do anything, just put in a new fuse, and away she went. Bailed away grand for another hour, and then same thing happened, only this time I was just finished moving on to the last 5 acres that had to be baled in this block of ground. Bang, lost drive, lost everything, and nothing I could do would keep the fuse. I think I blew about 24 fuses. I blew a heap of fuses. So I was going through a lot of different things. So because it was the shuttle that went the last time, so we thought maybe it was a wire going from the shuttle down and across to there. So I ripped up the floor. That wire was fine. So then it was rip out. So your fuses and the 6400s are under there, and then you have your ECUs and more stuff is under that there. So I ripped out plugs. We checked plug L20, which can be a problem on some of them. It seemed fine. Checked the ECU for the linkage. It seemed fine. There's more plugs and wires under there. There's also on the viscous fan. So you have the radiator, you have your viscous fan. There's a loom that goes across the top of the engine down the column, and then is on the front of that. That can give trouble, I was told. Check that. That was fine. We started unplugging and checking to see what was going on. So took off the armrest, unplugged the armrest. It turned out we knew there was some fraying in wires because we hadn't the headline management working, but when I actually got down into where it was plugged in, it was very bad. It was very badly frayed. I plugged that out, fuse, bang, fuse gone. And we would literally, one at a time, I was plugging out things, trying it, blowing fuses. That's how I ended up blowing about 24 fuses. Done everything in the cab. Couldn't figure it out. So I ended up going home because it was just gone beyond my level of mechanicking. And I had, floor was out, side panels out, that was out, armrest was off. I had bonnet and everything was off. I had the battery box open. I had it all. Robert and me father Phil, they both come up to the tractor. Then I was quite a journey from home. That's why Father Phil didn't come up to me earlier in the day, and I went off then, and I up to him and went round baling. Himself and Robert went through it, and they found, so there was they found one thing which was in the bottom of under there. There was a wire which had gone blue molded to the bottom of the floor, and got that patched. And that was a wire for the cab suspension. Now the cab suspension is working perfect. We used to have an issue when you had to give it time to pump, and oftentimes you might hear it rub on the arch. That doesn't happen anymore, which is very nice. They also, while they're at it, they fixed up the armrest, and just from the little bit I done today, because I use headland management to get my float, I still don't have float, and the EirCode still coming up, but my headline management is working perfect again. So that was good too, but that wasn't the issue with the tractor. They couldn't find anything. So I suppose this is the big thing when it comes to figuring out and where you could have a wire like this, because a wire like that completely stopped me. I spent about 5 hours ripping, rooting, pulling, tugging, checking, all of that. I couldn't find it. But you're trying to find one wire of thousands, hundreds if not thousands of wires in a tractor that go everywhere. Like they're here, they're there, they're yonder, and just one of them wires is touching metal. It's rubbed and touching metal. So anyways, Father Phil went round to the back end, and there's a line of plugs that come out of, if I can pull myself up here. So them 3 plugs there, they're where all the power, so you have your wires come into the cab, they go to your fuse box, they go down into all them side ECUs and all that, and then they go from there, the plugs that bring them outside the tractor, going to where they're going, gearbox, linkages, draft controls, whatever, they come out of there. So then I had found one plug in the cab, which is plug L20. If I left that plugged out, you could keep a fuse in it, but you couldn't do anything with the tractor. That plug must have been very vital, but it just nothing would work, but the fuse wouldn't blow. So Father Phil went and he tried them. So he found one of them he could plug out and the fuse wouldn't blow. So anyways, he was on to the Murphys, and they said that was to do with the power command or the gearbox controls and the linkages. So then that sent Father Phil around to the gearbox, or where all the stuff goes for the gearbox. Brought him around to under the step, and there's lots of things under the step here, but once he got round here he was able to identify the problem. Can I see it? This wire here, this one here, so it's a plug that goes in. There's the plug there, that's the wire there. You can see the patchwork that's been done on it, but that wire was underneath these 2 hydraulic pipes, and it was shorted itself. I can't even get my finger in, just on the corner there. It was just on the corner of that plate there. It had pinched it there, rubbed through, and that's where she was stuck to the chassis, and that's what was giving me trouble. And I had been in here and I didn't see, like when you look in here there's 101 things you're looking at, and you're like, which one? There's some of these wires are a bit loose, that's all my Trimble guidance stuff, but there's like a lot of stuff and I didn't cop it. But Father Phil eventually, now it did take them, I think there were an hour if not 2 at it, because they had been rooting at the cab. But once that they found out about, you could isolate whether it was in the cab or out of the cab with them plugs, then he was able to know that it was outside. And that's all that was. It's it's a process of elimination to try and find where that little wire is that's touching the metal and shorting her out. And that's why she let me down. And it's probably one of the worst times we've ever been let down with that tractor. That tractor, it has a lot of hours on it, but it's given us good service. We have had maybe a handful of issues. The scavenger pump, she'd still run, but she was just a bit down on power. That's really the only thing I can think of. And we did have the problems with my headline management, and that's now fixed. And that's what it was. And it let me down badly. I was so peeved. I don't think I've ever been so peeved, because the bale, everything was going so well. I was going to be ahead of schedule getting on to the man with bale today. I was just flying it, and then it gave me trouble, and I could not for the life of me figure it out. So for anyone who's watching, you have a 6400 series, or even for that matter, a lot of things can transfer into other makes and models, but things like that, when your fuse is blowing, I know some people say temptation is just sticking in a bigger fuse, but that's not the way to do things, because that could lead to a fire. The likes of when a wire sticks and you start blowing fuses. If you were to put in a stronger fuse, or if you were to do the really stupid thing of putting in a bit of metal, that's how fire starts on tractors, electrical fires. You did let me down, but we did get going, and we got the hay bale in the end, and we actually got it very, very good. I have to admit now, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was today. it was 110%. It was as low as 14% moisture, which was bang on the money. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that for today's video. Hopefully that is going to be one of the last. Well, look, machinery is machinery. You have it only breaks when you're using it. It never breaks when it's sitting down or in a shed, or if it does, that's a bad job altogether. But we're going to leave it at that for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the baling. Hope you've learned something from me explaining what happened to me and how maybe that might help someone in the future if you're stuck or your fuse is blowing and you can't find that bloody wire. We'd actually had this very same issue with the 6290. The one with the front suspension, when we bought the Fusion first, we were blowing fuses, the same again to do with the drive, and it turned out in the end, and it was an awful, Jesus, I had tortured for days trying to bail, and fuse wouldn't go, and then it would go. It turned out it was one of the wires under the floor of the cab that was gone. But anyways, look, I'm going to leave it at that for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something. And if you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. That is it for me. Good luck.